Who do you trust? And what do you trust them to do? That is a question that I want you to answer in your journal in relation to every single aspect of your life. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about it in regards to romance and your soulmate and the husband that you're manifesting. But it works in every single aspect of life. Who do you trust and what do you trust them to do? I trust my inner being, and I trust my inner being to guide me to my soulmate. I trust God, and I trust God to guide me to all of my heart's desires that he put there in the first place. I trust my soulmate clients and customers, and I trust them to be committed to growth and expansion. I trust them to want to be in my world. I trust them to seek me out. I trust them to invest in themselves through my offers, through my programs, through my coaching. Who do you trust? And what do you trust them to do? In today's episode, we're talking about trusting your soulmate, trusting your husband. And you can trust your husband even if you have no idea who the hell he is. Why? Because we're spiritual women and we're spiritual beings. And you have a spiritual connection with your soulmate. I talk about this a little bit more in depth inside of Love After Loss, which is my program for overcoming past heartbreak, healing your relationship with men, and manifesting your soulmate love. That is currently 20% off. We'll talk more about that later. So, okay, who do you trust? And what do you trust them to do? You have a soulmate. You have a husband. You trust him. You want to, ideally. You trust him to find you. You trust him to be seeking you out, don't you? Except you probably don't, because you've probably never thought about this before. And actually, you've probably subconsciously been trusting him to do the opposite. Let me explain. When you are ready for love, and the first thing you do is go on the dating apps, and the first thing you do is go to your local golf course. And the first thing you do is go to the men's section of Neiman Marcus. There's an energy there of I'm ready for love and I have to go take action and I have to go make it happen, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with action. But what do I teach? I teach feminine leadership. What is feminine leadership? Feminine leadership is energy first. I'm going to change, shift, and align my energy with an amazing man and with an amazing relationship. And from that place, I'm going to be divinely guided and inspired on what physical action, if any, I need to take in order to manifest that relationship. Feminine leadership is way less work. That hyper masculine way of being. Go, 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 do. I want to find a man. I have to go here. I have to do this. I have to change this about my body. I have to post a profile to Tinder and I have to post pictures like this and I have to make sure that I say this in my profile. Oh my God. You see those videos, I'm sorry, they exhaust me, those videos where it's like, if you're a woman and you want to get married, the easiest thing that you can possibly do is get a large volume of guys. You need to be going on a date Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and 3 on Sunday. And out of all of those 7 guys, one of them is probably going to be your guy. And the greatest way not to get hyper-focused on one guy is to have 7 guys. 7 guys in rotation. You don't like one guy, kick him out. And there's nothing wrong with dating except I hate it. I hate it. I know. I have a public platform. I know. I have a business. I know. I am the leader of a community. I am still adjusting to having so many of you in my world and in my space. I'm actually an introvert. You wouldn't be able to tell that because... Do we have time to talk about my natal chart? I have to take a shower and I have to wash my hair before I go to bed. And I'm going to get real tired real fast. So quickly. In astrology, I have a Scorpio rising. On my 10th house, my midheaven is Leo. And I have a 5th house stellium. So all of my creativity and all of this Leo energy that I have... I'm sorry, I had to cough, gets put onto the internet, into my public reputation. I have a lot of energy in my career. In real life, I make it awkward. Not really, but also a little bit. I would rather be in a dark room by myself, me, God, angels, universe, ancestors, Beyonce blasting into my ears than be in a big ass room full of people. So the idea and concept of dating a whole bunch of men, ooh, that sounds like my fucking nightmare. Have I dated? Yes. We don't have time to talk about it. I don't want to go there. We should never go there. The point is that hyper masculine way of being that says, do. Take action. Keep taking action until you get what you want. It's exhausting, especially because we're women. And men are different, like physiologically, they're different. Men's like hormonal clock, whatever thingy, that shit goes like every 24 hours. Like, seriously, new fucking day for them every single day. Women, our biological everything does not work in that same way. Our cycle does not happen over the course of 24 hours. It happens over the course of 28 fucking days. And there are so many advantages to that. But the con is I can't go every single day of the month. My energy levels are going to fluctuate throughout the month. And it's probably going to be different if you're like taking birth control or, you know, different things going on with your hormones. But that's not the point. The point is, as women, we are not made to be able to go. Hyper masculine, more action, more effort. You want more results? You got to do more. My nightmare can never be me. So, as women, we're put in a position where we really get to be creative, which really works because we're kind of living in a feminine universe. We're living in a universe that works through the law of attraction. What is the law of attraction? The law of attraction is a universal law that says like attracts like. Similar vibrations will be attracted to one another. So when I want more money, I tap into and I embody the vibration of more money, of more abundance, and more money is attracted into my world. When I want more love, when I want more commitment, when I want greater, amazing, wonderful things with men, I step into the vibration of more love, of more commitment. And that relationship is attracted into my life. Now I'm simplifying it, but that's really the most that you need to know. So how does all of this tie into who do I trust and what do I trust them to do? Who do I trust and what do I trust them to do? I want to trust my soulmate to be seeking me out. Right now, think about your relationship with men. Think about your assumptions about men because you have them. Whether or not you have deliberately created assumptions about men, you have assumptions about men. When you think of men in your mind, do you picture beings that are ready, willing, and eager to be in a love relationship with you? When you picture men in your mind, do you think of beings who are ready, willing, and eager to take care of you? When you picture men in your mind, do you think of beings who are doing every single thing in their power to figure out how to understand you and how to love you to the best of their abilities? Is that your current assumption when you think of men? And if the answer is no, which it's probably no, then you're taking the route where you're working too hard. You're acting in alignment with an unsupportive assumption. Because if men aren't seeking you, then the second that you decide that you want a man, what is the first thing that you're going to do? I have to go to where the men people are. Because they're not seeking me. So I have to go to where they are. I have to go to find them. What is my favorite Beyonce lyric of all time? Find me. I don't have to find him. I don't have to call him. I don't need no phone. Yeah. You know me. I'm vibing. Seriously, Beyonce. Yes. Feminine energy. The energy of attracting. Feminine energy is receptive. The energy of receiving. When you're in that hyper-masculine energy and you're seeking and searching and going out of your way to find the menfolk and get them and capture them and get them to marry you, what happens? They kind of run away. Because what happens? What happens when you start chasing shit? It's going to run away. So that just makes sense to me. That just makes sense. Feminine energy receiving. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to come and find me. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to seek me out. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to want to commit to me. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to want to love me. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to want to commit to me. When you're in that energy of I trust my soulmate and I trust him to want love. When you think about your future husband right now, are you thinking about a man who is ready for love? Are you thinking about a man who is committed to love? And think about it. You could even be in a situationship, even if you're not currently involved. You were in a situationship. Think about your last guy. Think about your last relationship. Think about the last guy that you dated. How many of us, I know that I'm guilty of this, how many of us have been in those situationships where I think that he really wants to be with me and I think that he really likes me, but there's so much going on with his job right now and he's just really concerned with his finances right now and he's just really dealing with this and this and this in his career right now, and that's the reason why we can't be together because he's not focusing on love, because he's not committed to this relationship, because he's not committed to loving me. We don't say these things, but we're saying them. Oh, he's just really focused on his career right now. In other words, he's not committed to loving the fuck out of me right now. And that doesn't work for me. And that doesn't work for you. Because you want to be married. And then 2.5, think about it for a second. Let's just expand on that. Because we think, oh yeah, that's so logical. He's just focused on his work and he's just focused on his career, but it's actually not very logical at all. Because when you think about it and you think about growth, and you think about expansion, and you think about the fact that we are human beings living on the leading edge of creation, that means we are meant to grow. We are meant to expand. If you are an ambitious woman, which of course you are, because I'm Natalie Hughes, and you're listening to Naked and Noisy Manifestation Tools for the Professional Woman. So you being ambitious is a part of the deal. As ambitious women who are dating and marrying ambitious men, because I know you don't want a bum. What happens when you reach one goal? What happens when you reach one income goal? What happens when you get one raise? What happens when you get one promotion? What happens when you get one client? What happens when you get one sale at the new higher price point? What happens immediately after that? You think to yourself, I'm ready for the next one. On to the next one. And what next? And how can I grow this and expand this? And how can I 10x this? As ambitious people, as people who are always growing and expanding, you're always going to want more. There is no place in your career where you're going to get there and you're going to say, oh, this is it. I'm done. And now I can focus on romance. I'm done being ambitious. And now I can focus on romance. I am done. I am satisfied in my career. And now I'm ready for a wife. Like, what? Not possible. Not possible if you're really ambitious. Not possible if you're really living in your zone of genius. When I think about my life and I think about my career, yes, I have goals for right now. And I have a lot of shit that I want to get taken care of. And I have a lot of places that I want to be now. But I also have goals for the places that I want to be in my career and the things that I want to be doing when I have kids. And then I also have goals for the places in my career that I want to be and the things that I want to be doing in the world after I have kids, like when my children are grown adults. The career is the steady thing. The career is the thing that is always going to be growing, always going to be expanding. You're always going to be getting higher. You're always going to be making more. That's always going to be a thing that's there. There's no such thing as I'm going to reach this goal and then I'm going to be ready for love. It's like a little trap, a little never-ending trap. So what do you need instead of the guy who is so focused on his career and getting to the next level and blah, blah, blah? You need the guy who's committed to loving the fuck out of you. Where there is a will, there is a way. When you want solutions, when you want to figure out a way to make things work, you will figure out a way to make things work. But what you're avoiding when you have the guy who's focused on the career and not focused on you, what you're avoiding is the fact that the problem in the relationship is not the career. The problem in the relationship is not the finances. The problem in the relationship is not the third party. The problem in the relationship is not the other thing. The problem in the relationship is that he's not committed to loving the fuck out of you. And that's your unsupportive belief being reflected back to you. Men are not committed to loving the fuck out of me. Now, who do you trust and what do you trust them to do? You trust your soulmate and you trust him to seek you out. What happens when you trust your soulmate and you trust him to seek you out? You get to fucking relax. You get to relax. It doesn't matter. If I'm on a golfing course, I don't know why I would be there. It doesn't matter. If I'm in the men's section of Neiman Marcus, it doesn't matter. If I'm out at a bar, it doesn't matter if I'm in Miami. It doesn't matter if I'm in Vegas. It doesn't matter if I'm in Bora Bora. It doesn't matter if I'm in Brazil. It doesn't matter if I'm in Italy because guess who's seeking me out right now? Guess who's committed to finding me right now? Guess who's committed to being in a relationship with me right now? And I know that this works. I'm not married, but I know that it works because I am the owner of a global business. I have clients and customers all over the world. And this is how I attract them. Who do I trust and what do I trust them to do? I trust the women of the world to find my work. I trust them to be committed to growth and expansion. I trust them to be willing to invest in themselves. And that is how I'm able to raise my prices successfully. Attract clients whenever I want them. Attract course sales consistently. Create consistent income in my business. And I am not every single day, oh my God, go, 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 go. I have to create a new thing. I have to offer a new thing. I have to post a new video. I have to do this and this and this and this and this. Fuck, that's exhausting. This past weekend, I had a bill. Technically, a bill that's due like March 5th. And it's not March 5th yet. I had a bill that was due March 5th. It was like an optional bill. But if I don't pay this bill March 5th, then I'm going to have to pay significantly more down the line. So I'm like, okay, no, I need this shit to be paid off. So I went live on YouTube one night to get money towards this bill, which was great. And then I was going to go live on YouTube another night, but I was so fucking tired and exhausted, and I have a million other things to do. In that moment, feminine energy, as a woman, with multiple different things going on in her life, all of my energy cannot be going towards my business. I did not have the energy to go live another night. But who do I trust and what do I trust them to do? I trust my soulmate clients, and I trust them to find me, and I trust them to invest in me. So what happens? I go to sleep. I wake up. Oh, look at that. PayPal notification for $500. Thank you. The bill is paid. Hello. Mic drop. No further comments at this time. Now, it gets a little bit tricky when you have traumas and unhealed shit in the way. If you're on my email list or you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you know, I have some trauma and different things in terms of relationships and stuff with men. So I'm still working through that. But that's not the point. The point is that the shit works. And I know that it works. And here's what makes it work. This is not bullshit spiritual woo-woo fuckery. You cannot just, I trust the universe and everything is happening in divine timing. And what is made for me will never miss me. You cannot. Bullshit spiritual cliche a change in your life, a change in your relationship. You can't do that. It doesn't work because I declared who I trust and what I trust them to do. It works because I have a belief system that supports me. Number one, I believe that there's always enough money for bills. So when it comes down to this particular bill, my nervous system wasn't activated. I wasn't going, oh my God, what if I don't get taken care of? Maybe money won't show up for me. Money abandons me. People don't want what I have to offer. I mean, yes, these are all actually thoughts that I was working through throughout the month of February. But that's not the point. The point is that I worked through them. So when I was ready to receive, when I had aligned my energy, aligning your energy just means you have cleared out all of those wounds, all of those pains, all of those traumas, all of that abandonment. And then you have stepped into a supportive energy. You have developed a belief system that's in alignment with what you desire. So you clear out the story that says men don't want love. You clear out the story that says men are not committed to loving me. You clear out the story that says men are not committed to being in a relationship with me. Surprise, surprise. The stories about men are not just coming from men. They're also coming from your childhood experience. That's how the shit gets complex. And that's why you need to be inside of Love After Loss. I'm telling you. Because it's all interconnected. You have to clear space, meaning you have to heal the shit that was going on in your childhood experience, because how your parents treated you or how they didn't treat you communicated to you what you should expect in love, what you should expect from people. So if mommy and daddy were not committed to knowing who you are, to loving you, to supporting you, to showing up for you, then your subconscious definition of love is people don't care about me. People prioritize things over me. I grew up with a single mother. I'm a Capricorn moon. My mother was not around a lot because she worked so much. Oh, what's your story in romance? My predominant story over the past, 6 years since I've been adult, oh my God, since I've been an adult, 6 years, 8 years, don't do that math. That's enough. That's enough. I'm turning 26 next week. I'm not having a crisis over it, actually. I'm actually doing great. I'm actually never been better. Never been better. My romantic story throughout my adult life has been he can't be there for me because of this thing going on in his career. That didn't start with the man from the incident when I was 19 years old. That started with my mother in childhood. So not only did I have to clear this shit out from the incident, the terrible experience when I was 19 years old, I also had to clear out the childhood, the experiences from when I was a baby, from when I was a little girl. This is the work that we're doing inside of Love After Loss. So what's the point? What's the point of all of this? You want to trust your husband to be seeking you out. You want to trust your husband to be finding you. When you get on the dating apps and these guys are the worst, and there's no good men in this city, and all men aren't shit. It's a little bit hard for me to go on that tangent. I don't spend a lot of time around women who complain about men, so it's kind of difficult for me to get into that headspace. But when you're on the Hinge, or you're on the date, or you're dating the guy, and you're texting the guy, and the guy asked you out this Saturday, let's go out. And you're so excited. And then you wake up on Saturday morning, and he hasn't texted you anything. And you're like, are we going out on Saturday, or are we not going? Are we going out tonight, or are we not going out tonight? And then it's 12 o'clock noon. And the guy still hasn't texted you. And you're like, are we going out? Should I start getting ready? Should I be shaving my legs right now? What's going on? Are we going out? And then it's 1:30 and the guy still hasn't texted you. And you're like, okay, are we going to meet there? Should I text him? Or what's happening? And you're kind of freaking out. Are we going out? Are we not going out? Am I going to hear from the guy? What the fuck is going on? Maybe if you're like me, you get a little pissed off. Maybe you want to cuss a little bit. But that was the old me. But seriously, in that moment, when you kind of want a downward spiral, and the downward spiral doesn't have to be you going down into the pits of hell, singing the song Me, Myself, and I by Beyonce, all night crying into a tub of ice cream. That doesn't have to be your downward spiral. But the downward spiral is feeling a little bit bad about yourself, feeling a little bit self-conscious, feeling a little bit like, I don't understand. I thought we had a good connection. What's happening? Do I get to have love? Do I not get to have love? Right? That's a little bit of a downward spiral. Instead of that, who do I trust and what do I trust him to do? I trust my soulmate, and I trust him to show up. I trust my soulmate, and I trust him to communicate to me. Now, hear me clearly, I'm not talking about this specific Saturday guy. Maybe the Saturday guy shows up. Maybe the Saturday guy doesn't show up. I can't say if it was me what I would do. Maybe you get dressed up, and if he texts you or not, you decide you're going to go out, you're going to have a nice dinner. That's probably what I would do. But regardless of whether or not the Saturday guy shows up, the Saturday guy doesn't have to be the soulmate. The soulmate is the soulmate. The soulmate is 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 the soulmate. The soulmate doesn't change. Whether or not the Saturday guy shows up, the soulmate still exists. Whether or not the Saturday guy shows up, the husband still exists. Whether or not the Saturday guy shows up, the husband is still seeking you out. Whether or not the Saturday guy shows up, whether or not the Saturday guy texts you, whether or not you end up on a date with the Saturday guy, you're still getting married. Your time is still now. Your husband is still seeking you out. Who do you trust and what do you trust him to do? I trust my soulmate and I trust him to know how to communicate. When you think about your future husband, what do you imagine him doing right now? Do you imagine him seeking you out? Do you imagine him in therapy? Do you imagine him listening to podcasts by men who are going on their own emotional journeys, learning how to be emotionally vulnerable and supportive to women, healing from past traumas and heartaches? When you think about your soulmate, do you envision him listening to audiobooks, reading actual books, hanging out in a sort of book club and discussing interpersonal trauma and overcoming and how to create fulfilled, healthy relationships? When you envision your husband, do you envision him as a man who is deeply and completely committed to finding his wife? Who do you trust and what do you trust them to do? This guy in front of me is a shitty communicator. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to be a great communicator. And from that place, you release pressure. From that place, you're not chasing. You're not in a hyper masculine energy. You're not texting the guy 100 million times. Are we going out tonight or question mark? Hey, haven't heard from you. Is everything okay? Question mark. Did you forget we had plans or question mark? You're not having those moments. Because who are you and who do you trust? You trust your soulmate and you trust him to show up. But here's the thing. This is not something that you fake until you make. Because when you're having those moments and the guy says that you're going to go out on Saturday and he doesn't text you and it makes you freaked out and it makes you feel unworthy of love and it makes you feel like, what if he looked at my pictures for a third time and he decided that I'm ugly and he doesn't want to date me? When you have those moments, that's real. That's your inner children being triggered. That's your invitation to do the work. That's your invitation to go deeper. That's the bell and the blinking, flashing light saying, here, this is where we need to do the work. This is where we need to heal. This is where we need to shift. This is where we need to look at some stuff. That's all that is. So you don't have to be ashamed of it. And that's what we're talking about inside of the Love After Loss course. So I'm going to shut my mouth there. Who do you trust? And what do you trust them to do? And when you trust people, and you're not holding on tightly, Amanda Frances calls it holding on loosely. When you trust people, and you're holding on loosely, while simultaneously holding the expectation that you get to have what you want and desire, things start to flow a little bit more smoothly. Things start to flow with a little bit more ease. Things start to flow more because there's no pressure. You're not chasing after anything. There's nothing running away from you. You're not resisting a negative experience. So there's no negative experience that is persisting in your reality. You are, in terms of law of attraction, law of assumption, living in the end. Who are you? What do you have? You're a woman who has a soulmate. You have a soulmate who's showing up for you. You have a soulmate who's committed to loving you. This is a fact of life. Whether or not it's the Saturday guy gets to be up to him or whatever. Doesn't even fucking matter. Doesn't even fucking matter. And this is why your beliefs are so incredibly important. Because this is about who you believe about who you are. This is about what you believe that you get to have. Pre-birth intention. You were in non-physical. And your soulmate, your husband, was in non-physical. And you guys are sitting down and you're having this conversation between your souls. You're communicating telepathically. And you're saying, hey, I'm going to come down to earth around this time, this place. I'm going to have this experience, this experience, this experience. Around this time, I'm going to be ready to get married. Around that time, you're going to show up. Your soulmate's like, yeah, I'm going to come down to earth. I'm going to have this experience and this experience and this experience. And I'm going to grow in this way. And I want to learn this. And I want to break this generational pattern. And I want to create this kind of generational wealth in this way. And then I'm going to find you. And then we're going to fall in love. And then we're going to have 500 kids. And then we're going to live happily ever after. Basically, long story short. What do you believe about who you are and what you get to have? And this is why mindset work is so important. And this is why you need a daily mindset practice. Because how many times before you go on a date, how many times before you open the Hinges and the Twitters and the Tinders, how many times before you get on the apps are you getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on to who you are and what you came here for? How many times before you go out with the guy are you getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on to who you trust and what you trust them to do? Because who knows? The Saturday guy might stand you up. You put on a cute dress. You've already shaved your fucking legs. That's not going to waste. You take yourself out to dinner. Who's that hottie at the bar? Your soulmate, your future husband. Bada bing, bada boom. And now you're married, living happily ever after. Because no matter what happens, who do you trust and what do you trust them to do? I trust my soulmate and I trust him to seek me out. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to want a relationship. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to want a connection with me. I trust my soulmate and I trust him to find me. Trust, 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 trust. Princess in a tower. The princess is not coming out of the tower, running through the fucking forest, going, God damn it, are there any knights in here? Are there any fucking knights? Princess in a tower. That's not what's happening. I'm a princess in a tower. That's the energy and that's the vibe. Feminine energy. You don't have to be locked up in a tower. Tower optional. But who are you and who do you trust? Think about it from Shrek the Musical. There's a song, if you don't know Shrek the Musical. I think the title of the song is I Know It's Today. And long story short, Fiona, the main lady character in Shrek the Musical, she has a song. And in the song, she sang, I know it's today. It's day 5,735. It's day 70,398. And I know it's today. I know today is the day that my prince is coming. And then he does show up. And he does show up. And the only difference between you and Fiona is that you're not actually sitting and waiting around because you're a woman who likes to take action. I'm a woman who likes to take action. But the action that you take is internal, not external. You take action to shift the feminine. You take action to shift the energetic. You take action to shift your thoughts. You take action to shift how you feel. You take action to shift how you vibrate. You do that all day, every day, sister. You do that 24/7. You're doing that right now. And from that place of energetically shifting, from that place of energetically aligning, you become a magnet to the guy. In other words, you become an alignment with the guy. You become a vibrational match to the guy. And when you're the woman who believes that she was made for a soulmate love, because that's what I believe. And that's what I believe about you. I genuinely and authentically believe that every single one of your heart's desires have been placed there by God on purpose, intentionally. When you believe that you were made for an amazing love, when you believe that you were made for marriage, when you believe that you were made for soulmate love, soul level connection, partnership, mind, body, soul, whatever. When you believe that, not just a nice, fun, cool idea, like, oh yeah, that would be nice if that happened. No, when you believe it, what's a belief? A belief is a thought that you think over and over and over and over and over again. When you believe that that's what you were made for, when you believe that that's what you're worthy of, when you believe that that is your inevitable destiny, and when you believe that that man wants that relationship, when you believe that that man is committed to that relationship, when you believe that that man is fighting for that partnership, when you believe that that man is searching for you, that's when you're magnetic. That's when the relationship comes in. That's when the soulmate shows up. There are so many things I want to tell you about my personal life, but I cannot do it. But the second that I get married, I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to tell you every single detail, Diva. I'm going to tell you everything. But I can't tell you right now. But what I can tell you is believe me. And also, you don't have to believe me. Because you can really just try it for yourself. Love After Loss is a course not just about manifesting your soulmate, but about changing your relationship with men. And I might not have the 6-carat oval cut diamond engagement ring on my finger yet from Tiffany. I might not have it on my finger yet. I don't even know if 6-carat rings are a thing. I just kind of feel like 5 carats is a little bit too small. I might not have that on my ring, on my finger yet. But I do have an amazing relationship with men. And men do really give me princess treatment everywhere that I go. And I've said it once before, how I'm like, I don't like to go out and I don't like to do a lot of dating. But if I had something to prove, I would go out and it would be crazy. And it really is the truth. Because recently I've been going to the gym a lot. I'm going to tell you this story quickly, and then we're going to get out of here, and the episode is over. I can't believe it's 43 minutes. Didn't I tell you this had to be quick? I'm saying it like it's your fault. Didn't I tell you that I had to go? Okay. So I've been going to the gym. And long story short, so many men, so much kindness, so much masculine energy. The other day, I was at the gym, workout class. This workout class is like a bodybuilding, muscle, weightlifting. There it is. That's the word. Weightlifting class. Okay. So there's men there. I did not anticipate that, but okay. So there's men there, and I'm like at my little station, whatever. And there's a man next to me. And class ends, and there's a long line to get into the thing to put the equipment away. So I'm standing there, and I'm just waiting because, there's a long line, and I don't want to go stand in the line. So I'm just standing there, maybe I'm on my phone, maybe I'm taking my little picture, because I take a picture every single time that I work out. That's another story for another time. So I'm standing there, and then there's this a part of my equipment is like this, I don't know, stepping stool thing and these other things to prop the thing up. It doesn't matter. There's equipment in front of me. And this man, the man who was at the station next to me, he picks up my things and he just goes and puts it away. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. He's like, yeah. Didn't say anything to me. Like, when girls are always like, I want a sugar daddy, but I don't want to have to give him any sugar. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. Men just taking care of me. I don't even have to talk to them. I don't like how that came out of me. But I didn't. He wasn't hitting on me. He wasn't trying to talk to me. There was nothing. He just saw a need and took action to remedy the problem. Because that's what masculine energy does. And what do I have a belief about men? I believe that men show up. I believe that men support. I believe that men take care. I believe that men provide. Hallelujah. So there are moments like this in the gym, checking into the gym, where men are constantly taking care of me. I have this one experience with this one man who works in the gym. It's happened multiple times where I get to the gym and you have to like check in and I have my phone. Sometimes the app is like not loading or something. And so I'm standing there and this man, he's so handsome. I'm standing there and I'm like pressing like the app and I'm like, please load. And he's just standing there, just holding this thing, just like waiting for me, like no pressure. No pressure at all. And with different people, they just like, leave the thing. You scan your own thing and then you go in. But he's just like there holding this thing for me. I'm like, thank you so much. And he's so nice. Men are always taking care of me. They're always showing me love. Not the other day, this was like the other month. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you remember this. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but I posted something on that night. I went to the dispensary with my friend. She had come down from Sacramento to visit, and we went to the dispensary together. And yes, we went to my favorite dispensary at the moment. But the guy who was helping us there was a different guy, a guy who I'd never seen before. He was like 6'9". I'm not fucking kidding. Oh my God. The height on this guy, it just would not stop. Like, it was ridiculous. I was wearing heels. He was incredibly tall. So anyway, we're in the place and there's this guy. And he's like being so nice. And me and my friend, like, when you're out someplace, girl, I know I said we didn't have time, but like 2.5 seconds for like a cute little story. Okay. Just 2.5 seconds. The shower's not going anywhere. Okay. So, when you're like hanging out with like one of your girlfriends and you are just kind of like in your own world, you know what I mean? Where you guys are just like talking, you guys are just like laughing and just like giggling and like, it's just really me and my homegirl right now. It's just really me and my homegirl's world and everybody else is just living in it, So we're in there. And we're just like talking and like laughing, like, okay, what do you want? Like, what are you thinking? Okay, should we do like this? Should we do this? Should we get edibles? Should we get this? Like, just like picking and choosing. So the guy is sitting there and he's like, trying like A and B conversation. And he's trying to like see his way into this conversation. It was really interesting because he was really trying to be very helpful and like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, not like be included. Like he was trying to be a part of our conversation, but like he was really trying to help us. The place was not The place was not packed. It's not like, oh my God, there's a line. You guys need to get your shit and leave. It was not giving that. It was just giving this man who really wants to help us. And so there were two guys. Okay, there was multiple guys, but this the part of the story that matters is there were two guys that are kind of like behind the bar, like getting like all the button stuff. And there's one guy who's not helping us. He's helping somebody else. So the guy is helping, oh my God, there's so many guys. The guy, okay, so there's somebody else who's buying weed. That person gets helped. And now there's two guys who are behind the counter. And now the two guys who are behind the counter are helping me and my friend. And they're being like super helpful. We're like, oh, I don't know. We kind of want this. We kind of want this. Okay, but is this a hybrid or is this sativa or is this blah, blah, blah? And he's like, oh, this one's really good. And this is the one that we smoke. And this one's really good. And the other one was like, yeah, this one's really good. And it's like, we did not need two guys helping us. But we're never having a conversation about how many men do you need to help you? Because the answer is all men want to help you, and all men are eager to help you. So we go to the dispensary. The men are super helpful. And of course, we get a discount. We don't pay full price. And we're leaving the dispensary. And I'm like, yeah, like I love this place. Like that happens every single time I go to a dispensary, whether it's this one, whether it's another one. That is just my standard experience. I don't pay full price. So I'm talking to my friend about this, and she's like, that never happens to me. I'm like, swear? That's so interesting. That happens to me all the time. And it's not because I'm pretty and she's not. She's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. But I have the expectation that I just don't pay full price. Men always give me a discount, and men always take care of me. So it's not marriage, but it is something. It's not marriage, but it is free weed. That's the point. Is that I don't just want you to manifest a soulmate, but be afraid to be in the presence of men. I don't just want you to manifest a soulmate, but to be walking around the world saying, I hate men except for this one, because I think that's a lame ass existence to have. I want you to feel supported by men. I want you to feel taken care of by men. I want you to feel seen by men. I want you to feel shown up for by men in every single aspect of life, every single day, everywhere you go. I want you to be aligned with the kind of men who will go out of their way to take care of you, to support you, to be of service to you. Period, point blank. They exist. They're out there. There's an abundance of them. Everywhere I go, I manifest them. That is absolutely and so obviously available to you as well. So what's the thing between you and the husband, or you and a great relationship and experience with men? It's everything in your past that tells you you can't have it. Everything in your past that tells you men are dangerous. Everything in your past that tells you men are unsafe. Everything in your past that tells you men don't care about you. We do not have time for me to get into my dating history. Maybe we will next week. But if I talk to you about the experiences that I have had with men for a majority of my life, the shit that I experience and the way that I am treated with so much love, honor, and respect today is unheard of. I'm not crying. I should not, as a natural consequence of my childhood, I should not be having such a great relationship with men. But I do. Because of what I believe, what I expect, what I trust men to do, and what I trust men to be for me. Okay? That's all that I got for you. Love After Loss is currently 20% off. You can click the link in the show notes or the description to learn more about the program, to look over payment options, to read over my amazing client and student testimonials, and of course, to enroll and get instant access to this transformational program. I love you so much. The Love After Loss course will not be on sale again until probably the end of the year. Maybe next year. I have no idea what this year is going to look like. I have so many fucking programs that we need to focus on, y'all. I have no idea. But that's not the point. Check this shit out if it sounds good to you. I love you so much. There's also a free resource library, if you're not aware of it. Over 12 mindset manifestation resources. Some for love, some for money. Check that shit out as well. Okay? I love ya. And I'll talk to you next week.